Hello friends, welcome to the elite class. We're back with our Indian Physiography series. So it's our lecture 4 and this time we're going to discuss about the Great Himalayas of India. So let's get started. So talking about the Great Himalayas, Himalayas are actually the young fold mountains. They were formed because of the folding of the Earth's crust due to the tectonic activities. We all are aware about the tectonic activities taking place inside the Earth, and due to these tectonic activities, the folding of the Earth took place, and which gave rise to a raised platform which we call as the Himalayas. So this raised platform is actually a fold which has been created in the surface of Earth, and this folding gave rise to the Himalayas. Okay, so they are formed by subduction of, we are all aware that whenever the tectonic activities take place, so there is always either the friction between two plates or a collision between two, or they are parting away from one another. So in the formation of the Great Himalayas, there's subduction of Indian plate under the Eurasian plate. So Indian plate being heavy, it subduct under the Eurasian plate, which is the lighter one. Let's have a look on the diagram. Okay, as you can see over here that this is the Indian plate and this is the Eurasian plate. So this is the normal conditions before any of the subduction and all. This is the tip of the Indian plate and this is ancient crust, and this point is shown as a reference point so as to show how the folding of the earth due to the tectonic activities have given rise to Himalayas. So this was a point in over here, and with the time when you will see after the tectonic activities, the Eurasian plate is here and somehow it is skidding, Indian plate is going down and this point is raising upwards. Fine, so this portion of the earth, it is raising somewhat like this when it is indulging in this. So this point is raising somewhat like this and giving rise to the Himalayas. So whenever anything, this is I'll explain. So whenever you see that this is a plate, this is the land, and this is one plate and this is the another plate. Fine, so this is Eurasian plate, this is Indian plate, and when the Indian plate is subducting more and more under the Eurasian plate, so this area is elevating like this. When this will be subducting like this, so this will elevate one more layer. So the land portion which we can see over this part of the region, so gradually this will be seen in this part of the region, and the Indian plate will be subducting even more below. So this will be Indian plate subducting under the Eurasian plate, and the level rising is actually nothing but the Himalayas we are talking about. So moving forward, the Great Himalayas are actually classified in many ways. You can classify them regionally, directionally, and many other ways. So starting the classification from south to north, you will see first comes in the south. This is the Himalaya, so this in the South Himalayas you will find these are the Shivaliks, and then you will find Middle Himalayas, and after that you will find the Greater Himalayas, and then at the top you will have the Trans Himalayas. Fine, moving forward to the classification based on the direction from west to east. So first we have Punjab Himalayas in the Punjab area, in the Garhwal Himalayas, and then the Nepal Himalayas and the Assam Himalayas. Sorry, this is ASSAM, Assam Himalayas. So this is the classification. Let's take them one by one. We will first start from south to north, starting with the Shivaliks, that is the south of the Himalayas. So it is actually a longest chain of the Himalayas, because you will find a longest chain of the Himalayas, and these are the outermost ranges. For example, you will find some Himalayas there, and then there, and this and this. So this is Shivalik, this is Middle Himalaya, this is Greater Himalaya, this is Trans Himalaya. So this will be the outer Himalaya near the foothills, which will be near to, it lies near to the plains. So this will be simply the outer layer of the Himalayas. We can say it is the outermost range of the Himalayas, and that is why the Shivaliks are called the outer Himalayas. They run from west to east direction, and they have cover a distance of about 2400 kilometers. They start from the Potwar Plateau, which is in the west, and they went up to, this is Potwar Plateau in the west, and they spread from this Potwar Plateau to Brahmaputra Valley, that is in the east. Okay, so let's move forward in the Shivaliks. So then the width, talking about the width of the Shivaliks, sorry, we are Shivalik in the Garhwal range. The Shivaliks in the Garhwal range, because we have this is actually a regional distribution of the Shivalik. So in the Garhwal range, the width is 50 kilometers, and when we move towards Arunachal, that is towards the east, so width decreased to 15 kilometers. So this is a simple funda here, because the Shivaliks, when we come from like Garhwal, this is the Garhwal region and this is the east. Say this is the east part and this is the Garhwal part. Fine. So when the Shivaliks move from this area towards this area, so here the width is 50 kilometers. But when moving to the Brahmaputra Valley, it gets reduced to only 15 kilometers. So this is the meaning of the width difference in Garhwal and the Arunachal Pradesh regions. Shivalik is a continuous range with an unbroken successions of lower hills. It is a continuous range with no breaks at all, but except there is a gap of about 80 to 90 kilometers, and this gap is occupied by the river Teesta. So you can say that this is a continuous range of mountains and this, but in between you have somewhere there is a cut in between. Like there is here we can say this is a cut over here of about 80 to 90 kilometers, and this is from where the Teesta river flows. This is from where the Teesta river flows. Otherwise this is a continuous range of mountains. Now the altitude lies between 600 to 1500 meters, and they were the last mountains to be formed. So that means the first mountain includes, so we talk about that these are the last mountains to be formed, and these are the last mountains to be formed. So we were here. That means the first formed mountains are the Trans Mountains, then the Greater Himalayas, then Middle Himalayas, and at the last we have Shivaliks. They are also called the Lesser Himalayas as well. Moving forward, the amount of the sediments deposited in Shivalik region is quite high, because from the upper areas of the Himalayas the sediments are being dragged down to the plains. That is why the Shivaliks lie near the foothills, and that is why they have the large amount of the sediment deposits in them. In Jammu, now as we know that Shivaliks are known by the various different names. They are also known as Outer Himalayas, they are known as Lesser Himalayas, and in the same way in different regions the Shivaliks are called by different names. In Jammu they are called Jammu Hills. In Arunachal Pradesh they are called the Dafla, Mikir or Mishmi Hills. In Uttarakhand they are called by the Dhang or Dhundwa Hills, and in the Nepal they are called by Churiya Ghat. Sorry, this is not Ghar, it is Churiya Ghat. So in Nepal this is known by the name of the Churiya Ghat. moving forward, Shivaliks are obstructed by the course of rivers which are draining from the higher reaches of the Himalayas. And these rivers draining from the higher reaches of the Himalayas, they form some temporary lakes. So these temporary lakes have sediments in them, they are deposited in these lakes, and after the rivers had cut their courses through this range, the lakes were drained away, leaving behind the plains. And those plains are called dunes in the west and dwars in the east. So if we talk about, so this is a region, and when we move towards the east, this will be the east part. So in this very part, these are known as the dune. As for example, you will have various examples of the dunes like Dehradun and all. But when we go towards the east, so there these plains will be called by the name of Dwar, where the tea plantation is quite prominent. Fine. Moving back to the slide. So this is what we have all in our Shivaliks. Moving towards middle Himalayas. So in the middle Himalayas, we first know that they lie between the greater and the lesser Himalayas. Lesser Himalayas mean Shivaliks, and the greater Himalayas we are yet to talk about. And in between the two lies Himalayas known as the middle Himalayas. Middle Himalayas are also referred to as Himachal, like we call Shivalik by the name of outer Himalayas and lesser Himalayas. In the same way, Himachal are also known as middle Himalayas are also called as Himachal. The width of the middle Himalaya is 60 to 80 kilometers, and average elevation is 3500 to 4500 meter. Important ranges in the middle Himalayas include the Pir Panjal range, the Dhauladhar range, Mussoorie, and the Mahabharata range. So they are very important ranges. They are found in the middle Himalayas. Now talking about the Pir Panjal, which is very important range, it's the longest range in Kashmir, which extends from River Jhelum to Upper Bias for almost 300 to 400 kilometers, and it is separated from the Zaskar range by the Kashmir Valley. So this is the this is the Pir Panjal range, and this is our Zaskar range. Fine. And the Pir Panjal range is separated from the Zaskar range by Kashmir Valley. This is what I mean to say. Separated by the Kashmir Valley. Now, Pir Panjal range is home to many passes. That means it's home to a number of passes, and which include the Bidil Pass, Gulabgarh Pass, Pir Panjal Pass, and the Banihal Pass. The Banihal Pass is very much known. And the Pir Panjal rocks, these are said to be volcanic in nature. The Banihal Pass, which we talk about, so this is used by the Jammu Srinagar Highway and Jammu Baramulla Railway, and there are very important rivers that cut the Pir Panjal range, and these most importantly the three important rivers cutting the Pir Panjal range include the Jhelum River, the Chenab, on which various hydroelectric power projects are also made, and the Kishan Ganga River. So these are very three important rivers which lies in the Pir Panjal range. So middle Himalayas on a whole we can say they are less hostile. By calling them less hostile means they are very much friendly to the human contact, and there is human interactions in that particular region, and the majority of the hill stations you can find in the middle Himalayas like Darjeeling, Nainital and Shimla, Mussoorie, Ranikhet, Almora, and many more you can find in this middle Himalaya area. Moving forward to the greater Himalayas, these are also called by Central Himalayas, Inner Himalayas, and the Himadri. So these are the another names of the Greater Himalayas. We can call them Central Himalayas, Inner Himalayas and Himadri. Their average elevation is 6100 meters and their average width is 25 to 30 kilometers. And they are one of the most continuous mountain range in the world. They are continuous in a sense that there is no break mostly in that particular area. Majorly the type of the rocks are they are made up of are igneous, and they have their termination at the Nanga Parbat in the northwest and Namcha Barwa in the northeast. Sorry, this is in the northeast then. So Nanga Parbat is in the northwest region and the Namcha Bharwa in the northeast region, making the Greater Himalayas. So we can say that if this is a part and going towards the east, so if this will be the Namcha Bharwa in the Brahmaputra valley, so in the almost northwest part you will have here the Nanga Parbat. So this is the extension of the Greater Himalayas. Moving forward, the Greater Himalayas are home to the top 10 mountain peaks, and the highest of all is the Mount Everest, which lies in the Nepal, and in the Nepal it is known by the different name called Sagar Matha, and in the Tibetan language this is known by the name Chomlungma. So these are the different names for the same mountain peak, and but in the different languages. In India it's called Mount Everest, in Nepal it's called Sagar Matha, and in the Tibetan language it is known as Chomlungma. Majorly formed by the igneous rocks, and as I already told you that its termination is in the Nanga Parbat and in the Namcha Bharwa. This is it. So the range is very formidable that it cannot be crossed through the passes. So because they're generally higher than almost 4000 meters above the sea level, and they are almost snowbound for most of the year, which makes it difficult to pass. And there are another passes of these Himalayas quite difficult to cross, but these are the Zojila Pass, the Baralacha, the Thangla Pass, Niti Pass, Lipu Lake, Nathula, Shipkela, which is connecting the Greater Himalayas through different states, some through Sikkim, some through Ladakh, some through Himachal. So these are the different passes to cross through these, but it is very much difficult because most of the times these mountains are covered by snow. There is an important trade route connecting the Darjeeling with Lhasa, and which passes through the Jalapla Pass. Talking about, if we have to talk about the different passes, the Zojila Pass is of the Jammu and Kashmir, and the Baralacha Pass and Shipkela Pass. These Baralacha and the Shipkela, they are in the Himachal Pradesh region. And talking about the Thangla Pass, the Lipu Lake Pass and the Niti Pass, so these three passes can be of the Uttarakhand region. They are of the Uttarakhand. And talking about the Nathula and another one we can talk about like this Jalapla Pass, these both are the passes of the Sikkim area. Sometimes the question can be asked on the path or match the following, as is the question patterns asked in the UPSC in the current days. So you should be aware of which pass belongs to which state or UT. The Shimla is connected to the Ghatok by Shipkela Pass. We already know Shipkela Pass is Himachal Pradesh. So this road is also known as the Hindustan Tibet Road. Moving forward towards the Trans Himalayas, the topmost Himalayas, they lie to the north of the Great Himalayas. Obviously we know this is Shivalik, this is Middle Himalayas, then there is Greater Himalayas, and to the top, that means to the north of the Greater Himalayas, like the Trans Himalayas. The important range, now this is also known as the Tibetan Himalayas because most of it lies in the Tibet area. Most of the part of this Himalaya fall in the Tibet area. Some important ranges here are the Kailasha range, the Zaskar range, the Karakoram range, the Ladakh range, and etc. They stretch about 2000 kilometers in the east-west direction, and they are having an elevation of about 3000 meters. Their average width at the extremities and the central point differs. At the extremities it's quite narrow, that is only 40 kilometers, but in the central part it is very wider, that is about 225 kilometers. The highest peak of the Trans Himalayas is Mount Goodwin Austen, or we can say the Mount K2. This is the highest peak of the Trans Himalayas. Kailasha range is a part of the Ladakh range, and northernmost range of the Trans Himalayas is known as the Karakoram, the Great Karakoram range, or the Krishnagiri range. This is very important to remember. Other than these Himalayas, we also have some Himalaya part in the eastern part, which is going down the east towards northeast, and these Himalayas are known by the name of the Purvanchal. These are known by the name of Purvanchal. Now Himalayas, they take a sudden southward turn, or we can say they take a syntaxical bend, and they form a comparatively lower hills. Their elevations are quite lower than that what we have in the actual Himalayas, and they are in the form of a crescent, like the Himalayas are to the east and then this take a crescent shape like this, and this we call as the Purvanchal. It is in the east part. Fine. And they extend from Arunachal in the north to the Mizoram in the south, and they form an India's boundary with the Myanmar. They make a natural boundary with Myanmar. Moving forward, in north is the Patkai Bhum, which forms an international boundary between Myanmar and the Arunachal Pradesh. And to the south of the Patkai Bhum is the Naga Hills. And the highest peak of Naga Hills is Sarmati. The Bareil range is separating the Manipur Hills and the Naga Hills. And then the Kohima Hills are to the west of the Naga Hills and Manipur to the south of. So till this we have that this is the Patkai Bhum. Say this is Patkai Bhum, and to the south of this are the Naga Hills. Okay, and the Naga Hills have a highest peak, and the highest peak of the Naga Hills is, this is Patkai, this is Patkai Bhum, and to the south of this is the Naga Hills. And then there is another range called Bareil range, and this range is separating Naga Hills from the Manipur Hills. Fine. And to the west of the Naga and to the east of Naga we also have the Kohima Hills, and to the south is the Manipur Hills. So when we have either Patkai Bhum, then the Naga Hills, to the west of it will be the Kohima Hills, to the south of it will be Manipur, and in between the Naga and the Manipur we have the Bareil range. So this is how you can give a map representation for the same, and in this way you will be able to memorize it more properly, and also you can give a representation in this way in your exams, mains exams, and it will be very helpful and will get you more marks. Moving forward, now we say to the south of the Bareil range in the westward direction we have Janti, Garu, Khasi hills also. And to the south of Manipur we have Mizo Hills, also known as the Lushai Hills, and the highest point of these hills is the Blue Mountain. So the elevation keep on decreasing. So now we will have various we'll have a look. So this is the Patkai Bhum. Okay, a complete look of this. And then to the south of it we have Naga Hills, and to the south of Naga Hills we have Manipur Hills. And in between the Naga and the Manipur Hills we have the Bareil range. Fine, we have Bareil range. And to the west of the Bareil range, we have the Garu, Khasi, and Jantia. Okay, and to the west of the Manipur hills, we have Kohima hills. Fine. To the south of Manipur, we have Mizo hills or Lushai. Fine. So, what is the highest peak of the Naga Hills called? It is known as the Sarmati. It's known as Sarmati. And the Mizo Hill or Lushai Hills, they also have their highest peak called as the Blue Mountain. So this is the whole representation. Maybe it is a bit messy. You can practice it on your own so that you will remember it even more easily. So, and the most important thing, that the elevation of the eastern hills, they decrease from north. That means from Arunachal moving to the Mizoram, the elevation of the mountains keeps on decreasing. Moving forward to the Greater Himalayas, now the classification on the basis from the direction west to east. It was Sidney Burrard who classified the entire length of Himalayas on the basis of the river valley. Sometimes it will be asked that who classified them on the basis of the river valley. So it is Sidney Burrard. Now the description is given like in this classification is that Punjab Himalayas is between the Indus and the Satluj. That means in between the Indus and the Satluj there are Punjab Himalayas. Between Satluj and Kali there is Garhwal Himalayas. Between Kali and Teesta river there is Nepal Himalayas. And between Teesta and Brahmaputra we have the Assam Himalayas. Let's take them one by one. Talking about the Punjab Himalayas, they stretch over an area of 560 kilometers to a length of 560 kilometers. They are stretched, and they are also known as the Kashmir and Himachal Himalayas, because a large portion of these Himalayas lie in the Jammu, Kashmir and Himachal, and that is why we call them as the Kashmir and Himachal Himalayas. The important ranges of this area are Karakoram, Ladakh, Pir Panjal, and these are the very important ranges of this part. Now, the mountainous lakes in the Punjab Himalayas or the glacial lakes are known by the name of Sar. For example, we know Krishan Sar, Man Sar, Surin Sar, Sati Sar, that is the previous name of Kashmir, or Mahapadma Sar, that is the name of Wular. So, Sati Sar for Kashmir and Mahapadmasar for Wular. So these are some of the mountainous or the glacial lakes. Now coming to the Alpine Meadows in that areas are known as Marg, like Gulmarg, Yusmarg, Tungmarg, Sonmarg, and the inhabitants of that particular region are known by the name of the Bakarwals. Okay, they are actually the persons with the transhumans practice. They are seasonal migrants, human seasonal migrants. Fine. Moving forward towards the Garhwal Himalayas, they are also known as the Kumaon Himalayas. Their stretch is around 320 kilometers. So why they are known by the different names? For example, this is a part of the the Garhwal Himalayas. So in this part, they are known as the Garhwal Himalayas, and moving towards a bit towards east, they are known as by the Kumaon Himalayas. So either Garhwal or Kumaon, we can use it interchangeably. Okay, so in the western part they are known as the Garhwal, and in the eastern, it is not that in the west part of the India they are known as Garhwal, no, but their extension, their spread divides them into two parts, that's west and east, and the west of these Himalayas are known as the Garhwal, and the east of those Himalayas are known as the Kumaon Himalayas. Their elevation is generally higher than that of the Punjab. If the Punjab Himalayas are having an elevation of say this height, so the elevation of the Garhwal will be a bit higher than that. Moving forward, the important ranges of the Garhwal Himalayas are the Nanda Devi, Trishul, Kamet, Kedarnath, Badrinath. They are the very important this ranges of Garhwal Himalayas. Garhwal Himalayas are the source of both the rivers Ganga and the Yamuna. The mountainous ranges are also found in this Garhwal Himalayas also, and where they are known by the name of Tal. So, or Tal we can say. So, like we have Nainital. So, these are known by this name. And the Alpine Meadows are there called by the name of the Bughlas. Like in the Jammu Kashmir Himachal Himalayas, the inhabitants were called by the name of the Bakarwals. So in the same way here the ethnics are known by the name of the Bhotiyas. So these were the inhabitants, or you can say the ethnics of that area. They are known by the name of the Bhotiyas. Fine. Moving forward towards the Nepal Himalayas, their stretch is around 800 kilometers long, and they are the tallest section of the Himalayas. That means the Nepal Himalayas are among the tallest ranges of Himalaya, and that is why you'll find the top 10 peaks, top 10 highest peaks in the Nepal Himalaya region. The Nepal Himalayas have a high hydel power potential, and their important passes passing through these Himalayas like Jalapla and the Nathula Pass. Doklam Plateau lies above Jalapla, and as you know, this is very important part as far as the history point of concern. Moving forward to the Assam Himalayas, their stretch is 750 kilometers long. Majority part lies in the area of Sikkim, Assam, and Arunachal Pradesh. Their elevation is lesser than the Nepal Himalayas. We all are aware that Nepal Himalayas are the highest of all Himalayas. Their elevation is higher than all. That is why they are home to the highest peaks of the world, and that is why the elevation of the Nepal Himalayas is greater than that of the Assam Himalayas as well. Important peaks found in the Assam Himalayas include the Namcha Bharwa. It is the point where the syntaxical bend towards the downward east takes place, and where the Brahmaputra enters in the India. Another peaks include the Kulan Kangri or the Choma Lehri, etc. In Assam Himalaya region, the inhabitants or the ethnics, they practice the jhum cultivation, or this is known as slash and burn cultivation. This is very much common in those particular areas. Talking about the bend that on the western and the eastern extremities, if you have to talk about the syntaxical bend. So, on the western and eastern extremities, the Himalayas they abruptly terminate, and the Himalayas take a sharp southward bend, and that bend is known as the syntaxical bend. Western syntaxical bend it occurs at the Nanga Parbat. You have to remember that at the western end, the bend takes place at the Nanga Parbat. Okay, but if we talk about the east part, so it will be at the Namcha Barwa, as I already have mentioned in the fifth slides before. So where the Himalayas go southward, they enter into the territory of the Myanmar. So this we can say, and there are some important factors regarding Himalayas. Himalayas, we know the home to the glaciers are Himalayas, and you should also be knowing that Siachen lies in the Nubra Valley. You should remember this, that Siachen lies in the Nubra Valley, and there is another glacier called known by the name of the Fudchenko. This is known as the Fudchenko. So this is also in the Karakoram range. So I think Furchenko is in the Tajikistan mostly, that lies in the Karakoram range. Now, moving forward to the significance of Himalayas, we all are very, very aware of these facts, that why is it important, why Himalayas are important for us. Firstly, these are a natural security which Almighty has provided, and this is the nature's beauty that which has provided us from the Siberian winds. That is why we consider ourselves to be the in the tropical climate in the whole India, but as far as the north of the India is concerned, we are of the temperate climate. But if the Siberian winds were not blocked by these Himalayas, so definitely half of the India would have been much colder in climate. So the second importance of the Himalayas is of the defense security from the neighboring countries. So it is an itself an obstruction for them to instigate in. And Himalayas are the source of many rivers. We all are aware of the thing, and the sediments from the rivers bring down to the plains make them very fertile. So this fertility and the rivers of the Himalayas are very important for the fertility of the Indian soil. They are home to lot of the tourist spots. The lot many tourist spots are in there, and the source of very hydroelectric power projects. In fact, the forest cover of Himalayas, they offer a great forest resources to us. These forests provide a lot many plants of medicinal values along with the wood for fuel. Himalayas are also a great center of the pilgrimage for different religions. We know that there are the pilgrimage sites like Amarnath, Vaishno Devi, etc., which lies in the Himalayas. So it's a great source of pilgrimage also. And most importantly, they are the source of minerals, right? Pilgrimages there. So there are many other importances of the and Himalayas. For example, if the minerals are concerned, we have tertiary coal found in the Kashmir. Other include gold, tungsten, which are also present in the Himalayas. So in this way, our Himalayas topic is covered. Hope this is clear to you all. And if there is any sort of problem, do comment in the comment section below. And if you have liked this video, kindly give it a thumbs up, and please do subscribe to my channel. We'll meet you in the next lecture. Thank you.